99.7 FM.
Hello there, good evening and welcome. This is your Superstation Joy 99.7 FM and this is Strong and Sassy. My name is Anima Animado and we'll be doing this until 8 o'clock tonight. Now, as you're well aware, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So trust that we're going to have some difficult conversations, possibly shed a few tears, but all in all, leave you hopeful and perhaps most importantly, leave you aware. We're always told that early detection is key when it comes to, especially the cancers that affect women. So as much as we're having these conversations, we will encourage you to get checked. My guest for tonight is Mr. and Mrs. So I have two guests. You know how so normally we have the conversation and we speak to the woman who survived breast cancer. But tonight, we're speaking to Auntie Joycelyn, but we're also speaking to her husband because this month we really want to focus on how breast cancer impacts the family and how couples are able to navigate their way through sickness. I was telling Evans Mensah earlier that sickness is one of the top 5 reasons why families break down. And it's funny because it's actually in the vows, in sickness and in health. But thankfully, Mr. and Mrs. Yaokumah have sailed through intact. So we'd like to see what we can learn from their story. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening.
If you want to say hello to your husband, so your husband is on Zoom. There he is. Hello, Edward.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you too?
I'm very, very well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Edward is outside of Accra, so he is joining us by Zoom. So, Joycelyn, let's just start with the beginning. How did it all start? How did you find out that you had breast cancer?
Okay, so 2019 started well for me. So, November 2019, just after Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Okay.
I'm a nurse, but I never went to check because I thought I didn't have a family history and I was fit. So first week in November, because my husband lives outside Accra, we will usually talk after work before we go to bed. So I came back from work around 9 p.m. and then we were just talking. I was lying on my back, not really doing any breast examination, but by some chance or grace, I just touched my breast and I felt this hard knot. And I actually screamed and he was like, "What is it?" I said, "I felt a lump in my breast." And he was like, "Oh, go and have a check." So he kept on reminding me, "Have you checked? I'll go to work, come back." I even discussed with a few friends at my workplace. They were like, "Oh, I actually just weaned my last baby off the milk like somewhere in September."
Okay.
So most of them were like, "Oh, it could be
blocked milk ducts or something like that."
So
okay.
I relaxed for about almost 2 weeks.
Okay.
Before I was hoping this lump would just disappear because every morning I would touch and then it wasn't going away.
Okay.
So one of the days I went to work and I was like, no, let me just have it examined. If it's nothing, then praise the Lord. Because, it's not all lumps that are cancerous.
Of course.
So I went and the doctor examined. After he examined, he was like, the way it is defined, it is rounded. He was using all those terms. I want you to do a breast scan. So that same day, I went and then did the scan. So the technician started asking me questions like, "Oh, do you have children?" I said, "Yes, I have 3. And all that. Then he was like, what I'm seeing in your breast, it looks like cancer. Just like that. So I was just like, time stood still.
I mean, first of all, are technicians allowed to make such diagnosis? Like,
I don't know what he just said.
Just blurted it out.
He just said it because the way he was asking the questions and all that, your age, children. I said I have 3 children and all that. So he just said it, bluntly.
Just like that.
Just like that. So when he realized that I was shocked and surprised, he was like, "Oh, don't worry. Take it to your doctors. They will advise you on what to do." And it was like that day, my time just stood still.
Yeah.
I was confused, but then I took the report and then I went back, showed it to them.
So wait. So how did you walk from the room with the mammogram? Like, how did you walk from there to where did you go next?
I don't know how I did that. I had to drive back to work because I was then working at Kolebu.
Okay.
And I went to about 15 minutes drive away from Kolebu to do that. Yeah. So I don't know how I got back
because the technician had told you at that point that from what I can see you have cancer.
Yes.
Like that's it.
That's it.
Then hands you the report.
Yes.
And says, okay, go to your doctor.
Yes, go to my doctor and they will tell me what to do. So I said, okay, thank you. And I went back. So it's like I became disorganized. I couldn't work again. So I went to see the doctor and he was like, "Oh, I can see you are worried, but just relax. We need to do a biopsy to confirm. Sometimes the scan will pick that it's cancerous, but it's not." So he tried to counsel me, encourage me and all that. So I had to wait to see the doctor another doctor the following day. I did, and they said I have to do biopsy. Now, to book for taking the tissue and then taking it to see the pathologist and then having the reports back takes about 2 to 3 weeks. So you can just imagine the psychological trauma you'll be going through.
Hearing the technician's voice.
Yes. So it's turned out to be tears, prayers. I mean, that's when you become like, God, why, and all that. So I prayed and wished that the report, pathology, will come out to be negative. But then I was there after doing this biopsy. I was there one day and then they called me that I should come for my report. I asked them, please, can you tell me over the phone? They said no.
No.
So I went and I picked it. They asked me not to open it, but I was curious.
As in, like, you should hold the report,
send it
not
back
open it,
and send it
and
to my
send
doctor.
it to the wow.
Yes. So I told you who brought the sample. He said you were the one. So I opened it, and when I saw it that day, the confusion was more than the first one.
Wow.
I stood by the roadside for about 30 minutes. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether I should go to work. Who should I call? I mean, I was just confused. I stood there for about 30 minutes and then a friend called me that you're supposed to come to work. Are you coming? I said, I'm on my way. So I went with the report to see the doctor and then they said, okay, so there's hope. There's treatment. You've seen it early. It's first stage and all that, so we'll start treatment. So December 10th, 2019, I did surgery. And then 2020, 13th January, I started chemotherapy.
Okay. So I just want to check in with Edward about his emotions between... Edward, are you there? Okay. So Edward, tell me about your emotions between the moments when the technician told your wife that she that she had breast cancer, to when it was confirmed by the biopsy. How did you feel?
Yeah, thank you very much. It wasn't actually easy. I was actually confused. Breast cancer, we've always been hearing about it from outside, extended friends out there, they'll talk about it. But for it to get close to you, and not a family member, but your wife, it was actually not easy. But there was one thing that I did. I actually, for my fears, I didn't make my wife know of my fears.
Okay. So
I kept encouraging her. She would talk, lament, share all her fears, and all that. But for me, I was strong. But when I go to my closet, I also lament.
Wow. What was your biggest fear at that point?
Yes, the fear is basically the uncertainty about the future. You don't know what is really going to happen. We know how deadly the breast cancer is. So your wife being diagnosed as somebody who has a breast or who is having a breast cancer, you don't know how the future is going to be like for her.
Wow.
So it wasn't really easy.
It wasn't
psychologically.
It wasn't easy. Joyson, so when you got the diagnosis, did you think you were going to die?
Yes, at a point, all sorts of thoughts come in mind. You can respond or not respond to chemotherapy.
Yeah.
There are people that don't respond. And my doctor told me that for what the type I had, there is hope.
Okay.
So the possibility of responding was high, but still, I had fear of death.
What was the surgery like?
The surgery was okay. So I think surgery was okay with me. It was okay. I was booked. I went in, took me to theater, and then I came back.
Okay.
After.
So they took out the lump, or you had a mastectomy?
The lump was taken.
They just took out the lump.
It was very small, like less than 2 centimeters.
Okay.
Very small. So, like I picked it up early. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you have surgery, you take out the lump, you have a few days to rest, and then chemo starts.
Yes, please.
Okay, so walk us through the chemo journey.
So I've heard a lot about chemo. I've nursed patients who will do chemo and come back on admission and all that. But then I never imagined,
that it would be you.
Yes. And you can sympathize with people, but until you are in their shoes, until it happens to you, wouldn't know. So I just told myself, okay, I am a strong girl. I've been through worse situations than this. So
have you though?
Yeah, well, I think I've had some bad life experiences, illness, appendicitis, and all those things. So I felt, this is just going to be one of them, and then everything will be fine.
Okay.
So I walk in boldly for my first chemo, and after 2 days after the chemo, the fatigue, tiredness.
Wait, so before that, what's chemo actually like? Because people don't tell us what it's like. It's like this thing, chemotherapy, sounds very. What is it like?
So it's a medication that is given to treat cancer, kill cancer cell. Okay, but it's toxic. It's cell toxic. So as it's killing the cancer cells, it's killing the normal cells.
The good ones as well.
So it's like it's breaking down your system. Okay. So you have fatigue.
So wait, so you walk into a room.
Yes.
And they just give you the medicine?
So you have to see a doctor. Okay. They prescribe the type. So the breast cancer, we have types. So we have the big umbrella, breast cancer. Then we have types and subtypes. Okay. So they will test which medication that you respond to to prescribe. So they prescribe with the dosage. Okay. And then you are booked for a day in a week. It's like Monday to Friday. So a day is picked that you can fit in. Then you walk in, they set an IV line, and then hang it, drop the medication in the infusion, and then you sit. Some of the medications take 3 hours. Okay, wow. Some take 2 hours, some 1 hour. Then you can have a combined treatment. So either you are having combined, so that's 2 medications or 1 medication. So each person and then how they are treated. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you could spend about 5-6 hours there if it's one after the other. Yes. Getting so that's what the chemotherapy is. That's what chemotherapy is. Right. And then tell us about how you felt after your first treatment. So did Edward, was he able to go with you? Once. The first one. The first one I went with my mom. Then later he took me, and then the radiation too, he was around. Okay. Okay. So I took the chemo. The first night I couldn't actually sleep. The anxiety, the fears, the uncertainties, and all those things. So I actually had a restless night. But then the first day, I think I had some strength. Okay. The second day, then I started feeling the weakness, the fatigue, nausea, diarrhea. I mean, everything worse you can think of.
Because essentially it's like it's killing you.
Yes.
I mean, it's killing you to make you better.
Yes.
But it's killing you.
Yes. So
Wow.
so you can either have constipation or diarrhea.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I had diarrhea. So you can just be moving your bowel like
Just
every
all the
10 minutes.
time.
You are moving. It's got so worse that at a point I couldn't even clean my.
It was so
It
sore.
was so sore. I had to use water to wash up after moving my bowel. That was how bad. And the weakness and, it's just chemo is not a pleasant experience. That's why people will take 1, 2 and decide not to come back. It takes,
people do that.
The will to live or survive to always wake up and then decide, okay, I'm going for it. And then sometimes I just start counting by, okay, 1 more, then I'm done. 1 more, then I'm done. Just to encourage myself because it gets, you get mouth sores. I lost some of my toenails. Rashes
As in
on
the toenail?
The
whole nail
nail coming off. It darkens. It first darkens and then it comes off.
As in it falls off?
Yes, it falls off.
Like you are walking and your toenail just falls off?
It actually fell off, And then you see people, their nails become very dark. Yeah, their palm, your skin, it affects your skin. So I had mouth sores, rashes, loss of hair. That is obvious. Yes, loss of hair. Then loss of appetite. Though your nausea will be treated, they'll give you some anti-nausea medications. At that moment, even sugar tastes bitter in your mouth. Nothing tastes sweet in your mouth, but you need to eat to survive. So you are just eating to survive. You are just fighting for your life. So anything that keeps you going, you do. You're talking about rashes and sores and stuff. Did you want to be touched? Did you want to be held? Your emotional, your need for emotional connection through the battle. Like what sometimes
was that
you just need someone to hold you and tell you it's okay.
It's okay.
Right? Sorry.
It's all right.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Take your time when you're ready. Take your
All right,
time.
so it gets very hard. Sorry.
Keep this frequency clear.
It's okay. Let me talk to Edward a little bit so that you can. So, Edward, when Joycelyn was going through chemo, what was that like for you, seeing your wife in so much pain and so much distress?
Yes. Before I respond to that one, let me take you back a bit. Before this, the surgery, again, the fear was there. We didn't really know how the surgery would be like, as to whether the whole or the entire breast will be taken out. We don't know. So she will keep asking, so what if I go and they have to take off the entire breast? Will you still be with me with one breast? So I have to encourage her at that point. And I told her also that even if the breast is taken out, I know there's a silicone breast and all those stuff. So we can go in for that.
Yeah.
Now, back to your question. The chemo, it was not easy. Looking at her, especially after the first chemo, that the signs were just so visible. Her hair started going off and all those stuff. It was not easy. You come back home and that is your wife. Somebody you know so well, somebody you stayed with for years, and suddenly all those drastic changes. It was really, really not easy. But constantly, we have to keep encouraging ourselves. Because myself, I was also dumbfounded. I was also down. So she also encouraged me at a point, and I also encouraged her at a point.
Yeah.
It was really not easy.
I can imagine, Joycelyn, by this time you still had a little baby, didn't you?
Yes, he was 1 year, 3 months.
when all of this was happening? How did you cope with the kids? And how did they cope with seeing mommy so sick?
Okay, so the elderly one, she was 7. And then I had 7, 5, and then the last one was like 1+. So before surgery, I called the 2 because I thought they would understand. So I told them, Mommy will be going to the hospital for some surgery, and I'll be going again for another medicine, and my hair will fall off, and they will see a different part of, like, I will change, but then it just for a moment, it will pass, and everything will come back. I know they didn't really understand because 7 years, what are you? Yeah. But I just had to, tell them. So I told them that the little one, he was just walking and picking his speech. So the days that I'm very weak and I couldn't even get out of bed, I called them and then they will support me. Sometimes you are just tired of sitting in the bedroom, so I want to take some fresh air. So then they will now come and support me, walk me outside. And the first time it happened, the second time. So the second time it was like, Mommy, again, why are you, like, he was trying to, why are you always being supported? And then he will ask me to carry him, and I didn't have the strength to carry him. So I remember after treatment, one of the days I bathed him and then I carried him. He was so excited, saying, "Oh, Mommy, you've carried me!" Like the way he was behaving, I was like, it meant so much to him that I was carrying. So I felt that, so this carrying it meant a lot to him that I should carry him. But at that moment, I didn't even have the strength to carry him. So the first day I carried him, he was so excited. And now they talk about it. Mommy had breast cancer. The elderly one is now 11, so they know that, okay, Mommy has had breast cancer and all that. And it is now a normal conversation in the house. Yes.
So you don't feel like it had any long-lasting emotional effects on them?
No, they are kids. So
I mean, they'll grow up and ask questions.
They'll ask questions. Yes.
But for now, they're okay.
They're okay. At a point, my mother-in-law came for them.
Okay.
So that at least
you can rest and they don't have to see.
Yeah, they don't have to see a lot of all that I was going through. So they were away for a while. And 2020 was COVID and all that. So there was lockdown. So they were with their grandmom and I was with my mom here, taking care of me.
I'm sure their grandmom spoiled them.
Oh, yes.
They asked for grandmothers. You can't believe that they would. So, okay, so you've done the first phase of chemo.
Yes.
And then what was next?
So after chemo, you do what we call radiotherapy.
Okay.
So with radiotherapy, it's like a scan machine that gives radiation. So it's supposed to kill the cancer cells in that part of your breast. So it's also a form of part of cancer treatment. So I did that for 3 weeks. You are supposed to go every day, Monday to Friday, for 3 weeks or 5 weeks, depending on your treatment plan.
Wow.
Yes. So no matter where you live, you go every single day. The machine is positioned against that part, and then after I think barely 10 minutes, you get up and then you go.
Okay.
So that one too, a lot of people complain that it gives nausea and tiredness. For me, I felt the fatigue and all that, but I think it was also, radiation was kind to me.
It was better than chemotherapy.
Better. Yeah, though, you have darkness, that around your breast, you can have ulcers and all those things, but then I felt chemo was bad.
It's kind of burning. It's burning away.
Yes. So now when I go naked, one of my breasts is darker than the other. Yeah.
Okay, so you did that for
3 weeks. Yes, please.
Okay. And then after that, what happened?
So after that, then the type I had is hormone positive.
Hormone positive. Okay.
Yeah. So I am taking a medication we call tamoxifen.
Okay.
So I take it every day. So I'm now in my 3rd year. So basically, I'm going to take it for 5 years, and then I'll be assessed if it will still be effective. Then if it will be effective after the 5 years, then I move on to 10 years.
Okay.
It's supposed to prevent the cancer from coming back. Yes.
Okay. So you did the surgery, you did chemo, you did
radiation therapy.
So you did one round.
Yes, like you do one after the other.
Okay.
So after chemo, then you do radiation.
And then that was it.
And then yes, but then there's another treatment we call hormone treatment.
Okay.
So the type I had to, it's a HER2 gene. Like they identify a gene called HER2. So there's a medication we call Herceptin.
Okay.
It's an injection you are giving on your thigh for 18 times. So it's like a year-long treatment.
Okay.
So that one after chemo, after radiation, you continue for like a year before then you are done.
So which means that in your case, the chemo and radiation worked.
Yes, I'm still alive.
Wow, that's amazing. That is truly amazing.
Yeah.
So what was that like when you finished your round of chemo and therapy? Because I'm sure the doctor had a conversation with you about where you were. What did he say?
And so I went back, I asked, what next? Am I in remission? I said, yeah, so for now, every year we'll do a mammogram. We'll keep on checking up on you. You go for reviews and all that. And then we watch how it goes. So basically, I go for reviews. I still do labs. I still do mammograms and all that.
How often?
And so you start with 1 month, then 3 months, 6 months. Currently, I'm on 6 month reviews.
Okay. So it's looking good.
It's good.
Yeah, it's looking good. Edward, I mean, how do you feel now after everything that Joycelyn has gone through, you know, and knowing that it may never be completely over, but it's also kind of over?
Yeah, so the excitement is there because looking at what we went through, or she went through, and so the very last day that she took the Herceptin, I was like, oh, now I'm done with all the cycles. I was so excited. But currently, once a while I'll ask, so what next? Is there not any test for us to do or for you to do so that they will declare you completely cancer-free? So currently, that is what I keep asking. But
yeah,
I'm so excited now
about where you are.
We've gone through all that, and she's fine. She's healthy now. If you look at her, she's even more beautiful than ever.
Edward, you are coming to score points on my show. Hey. Wow, I see. Nice one. Please, madam, they said you are looking more beautiful than...
Thank you. But you don't say it.
Women. Edward, you see how we are. When you say it, then we'll say you don't say it. Why are we like this? They said you don't say it enough. Please try and be saying it often.
Yes. Not I know. I have to increase the number.
Yes, please increase the frequency. It's very. So I'm interested in how the process, the chemotherapy and all of that affected your sex life. So let me come to Edward first, because I can imagine that whilst Joycelyn was going through all of this, no shots were being fired.
Well, intermittently.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Intermittently. I must admit.
Okay.
Because looking at the period involved, to say you are staying off completely, it might be a bit dangerous. Yes. For the woman, I think you may be able to cope. That is you women, but a man may not be able to cope for that longer period. So intermittently, we try shots, but it's not as it used to be. Why? Because the chemo drugs made a lot of changes. So it wasn't as it used to be, but at least man must survive.
Man, exactly, right? So, I mean, Edward says intermittently. So what does he mean by intermittently?
All right, so I was dry. Okay. You know, the chemo affected my sex drive in the extent that nothing he does wets me or turns me on.
Yeah.
But then I didn't want to lose my husband after cancer treatment. So then we have to use lubricants and all that. So as he said, I wasn't enjoying it, but I just had to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't that I was just trying to play my role as a wife.
As a wife.
Yes, to keep the marriage going. So though I wasn't enjoying it, I had to do it.
You had to.
Yes.
But obviously, I mean, it wasn't painful or...
No, it wasn't painful. It wasn't fun. It's just like, okay, we have to do it.
We have to do it.
Yes.
I mean, you say it like this, and it seems like it's a trivial matter, but it's actually a very, very, very important thing. And I can imagine the burden on you and also on him, but that burden of knowing that if I may be sick, but if I don't take care of my husband, then somebody else will.
Yes.
I mean, were you afraid? Did you have that fear?
Of course.
You did?
Of course, because look, the changes I had was just like I had aged like 20 years my age. I had bloated, become darker.
I can see. I mean, this is you, right?
Yes.
It's
my whole hair was gone. So when I look in the mirror, I don't recognize myself. And I know that for me, it was even affecting me. So how much
more
him
yeah.
knowing that like this is a different, like this is not Joycelyn.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do I do to keep him in the home?
Yeah.
So at that moment, that is the only thing
you can do.
I can do for him to feel that I'm still his wife.
I mean, Edward, what was it like? Because obviously, I'm looking at a picture of Joycelyn, and I understand why you say that she's much more beautiful now. She is. I mean, obviously, the treatment took a toll, but she had lost so much of who she was. So she wasn't as attractive. Like she said, she was darker, she was bloated. I mean, did you still find her attractive, or were you also in your way kind of, let me do this to preserve the integrity of what we have, so that my physical needs don't drive me to make a decision that would impact the family?
Yeah, basically that was it. At that point, excuse me to say, the attraction wasn't there. Because the Lynn, I call her Lynn, and then she calls me Elle. The Lynn that I knew was not the Lynn staying with me at that point. So the attraction wasn't there. But as I said earlier on, man just have to survive. Sometimes the edge will come, but sometimes you try to kill it, but sometimes you just have to.
Yeah.
You just have to. Yes.
I mean, I must
so
say that
I realized that at that point she was also just trying to please.
Yeah.
Yes, to just make me feel that okay, fine, we are still on, we are still together, and despite the condition, we are still husband and wife.
I really admire your commitments to each other. I mean, for a wife to not feel attractive and for a husband to say you were not attractive, but I'm still going to stay and try to make it work. I mean, I think that's absolutely amazing. So, wow. Well, thank you, Edward. I don't know how many men would stay and
people run away.
Yeah, people run away. Yeah. So. Yeah. Wow. I'm trying not to get emotional. But yeah. So, okay. So now you finished chemo, you finished radiation. What was it like to get yourself back?
It wasn't an easy thing, because it's not easy to lose weight.
So you didn't become skinny?
No. So cancer treatment has advanced, more research and all that. So you are put on steroids, to help with the side effect of.
Okay, and obviously steroids will make you
bloat.
Bigger. Yeah.
So basically, the first chemo, second chemo, I was like just doubling. And
wow.
he was like, what's happening? you're just becoming big. My tummy, my face, it's like you're just putting on weight.
Yeah.
Even if you don't eat, you put on weight.
You put on, the steroids would do
Yes.
that.
So I went to, before chemo, I was, I think, 68 kg. Then I went to about 90 kg.
Oh, wow.
So that was big.
That's a massive,
Yeah. So then I just had to work out. We started working together. We will take walks, exercise, take water, change diets and all that. For a moment I knew that no, I need to go back to my former self. So I went off carbohydrate and a whole lot of things, stop eating fats and just eat vegetables, more water. I work out just to get back to
yourself.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yes, it worked.
Wow. And how about your skin, your hair, your nails?
So the hair, I realized that 3 weeks of that's like 1 week after the last chemo, the hair started shooting back.
Little sprouts of hope.
Yes. And it was really beautiful and like baby hair. So it came, and then he likes hair, like long hair, and I had this very beautiful curly long hair.
Wow.
Heavy kind of hair. So I know my husband admires hair a lot. So I decided, okay, for you, I'm going to start perming my hair again.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, there's no need to. Just keep it short. I was like, are you sure? I don't want any issues. So one day he came back and I braided my hair and all that. He was like, you're worrying yourself. Just keep it short. I like it that way. I said, okay, fine. If you are sure, then I'm going to cut it and not perm.
Yeah.
And then so for, let me say, 3 years now, I've had my hair short.
Edward, why did you switch from the long hair to the short hair? Tell us the real reason.
Yes. It was, I just have to adjust to it because as at the time that she lost her hair, there was nothing. It was, the head was just
bowed.
It was just head.
There was nothing.
Fearful head, yeah.
But I adjusted. So at that point, I realized that it's not always about the hair. It's not always about it. So if I was able to adjust at that point, and I see ladies out there with a short hair, my wife can equally do that.
Okay.
And then
we move.
I encouraged her to. And also, I don't want her to start putting creams and all that. That probably may result into something else.
Yeah.
So it's also one factor. But basically, I just have to adjust.
Okay. So now we did the short hair. Your nails, did they grow back?
Yes, they grew back.
Okay, and then your skin.
Yeah.
So you were just like really taking care of yourself to kind of come back. Yeah. How about emotionally, spiritually?
Spiritually. So every day I tell people that it is the grace of God to go through this and come out successful, because at a point I was depressed. Yes, I experienced depression. And
in the process.
In the process,
okay.
Yes. Emotionally, it's like you are down. A lot of things, like chemo is just a lot of things. So emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, you may not even have the strength to pray. So I have to fall on my pastor and then friends that I think can intercede for me. I wasn't praying. I was just listening to gospel songs, something to keep me going.
Yeah.
Because to even open my mouth and say, God, I didn't even know what to say at that moment.
Yeah.
So all I would do is just listen to songs to encourage myself. And, well, the depression, it was really bad. It was bad to the extent that I didn't want to do it. Like, you lose your strength. I was in bed the whole day. I didn't eat. I didn't feel like brushing my teeth.
Wow.
It was as if I was giving up. I gave up on myself.
You gave up.
I locked myself in the room. I refused to go out. And it was actually my kids that, it's like, I just heard this voice that was like, so even if you die, why lock up yourself in the room and leave your kids out there? Even if it's 1 hour, why won't you have that moment with them so that they can cherish that moment? Why lock up yourself? I'm not giving up on you. So why are you giving up on yourself?
Wow.
That voice, I knew it was just the voice of God talking. I just all of a sudden felt this strength. I got up, brushed my teeth, bathed, and then went out, and I went to play with them and all that. I mean, this, my life is a testimony. It took the grace of God to go through it.
To go through that. So, I mean, basically, at the very bottom, it was God using your children to remind you that there was still a reason to fight. To fight. Are you glad you fought?
Very glad. Very, very glad. I mean, every day I wake up and I thank God that I'm still here. There's a purpose why.
I was just going to ask you, I mean, my next question was going to be, do you feel like there was a purpose for everything that you went through?
Yes. Because this conversation can take like the whole day.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know, there are days that you wake up and it's like, you just don't know. Then it's like, there was a day my mom told me she was scared because I was sounding nasal. Like, that day, I don't know what was, whether I was hallucinating. But then when I closed my eyes, it's as if I was seeing my body in a cascade state. I don't know what was happening to me. It's like I was hallucinating or sort of something. So that day I just knew that no, if today I don't survive this thing, then I'm gone. You know. So it's like this conversation is it breaks you down. The whole thing like breaks your system down. Psychologically, emotionally, and everything. But then at the end of the day, I just knew that no, I need to fight, if not for myself, for the kids.
Yeah,
I didn't want them to grow up without their mother. I know my friends that I work with, some of them, when they give birth and they don't have a mother, it's hard to raise their little ones. So I wanted to be there for them. At least if I see them grow up, they have a mother figure in their life. It's better than to say we lost our mother to breast cancer. So I just knew that I need to have that will to survive. And then I thank God that He granted me that grace to actually fight, because life has been good.
Since it has, I can see on your face the way like, life has been.
Yes, and I appreciate life much more better than, you know. I say I enjoy as much as you can afford. I mean, first I was very reserved and all those things, but I just think that look, we'll all die one day, but let's enjoy.
So let's enjoy.
Yes.
Edward, what kept you going? What was the one thing that really kept you? I mean, you described yourself as the one who was strong through it all. So what kept you going?
Well, I'll also say the grace, and then you cannot take the God figure cannot be taken out. So the grace was strong for me, and the grace kept me going, and also the love. Yes, the love. Day one, I love you. So that love was still there and is still around. That love is still in. So that love kept me going, and every day I will encourage her. You will make it. We will be together as we were, and that's it.
So when you look at her now, after everything that she's been through, what comes into your mind when you look at her?
Well, I just thank God for everything. Yes, I thank God for everything, and I know it's a God's will for us to go through this. So when later she told me that she wanted to be an advocate, I was like, fine. I think God wanted us to
turn
do
the
something.
Pain into something.
Yes, to tell the story, to encourage people out there, especially she being a nurse and going through this. She narrates the story better, and people get to understand it better.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's also one thing that I look at now and say that, okay, probably God wanted it that way.
I see. So how is the sex these days?
Oh, it's fine. It's better now.
It's
In
better
fact, it's
now.
best.
It's he said it's best.
Joy 99.7
Yes,
FM.
I actually thought it won't come back because even after treatment,
You thought your sex drive won't come back?
yes,
Okay.
after treatment, it still didn't like bounce back like that immediately. It took time. I started reading, what to help me and all that. And, you when you go to the internet, you find solutions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good or bad.
Yeah. You find solutions. So you solutionize yourself and you are back in business.
Yes,
That's so amazing to
yes,
hear.
yes.
That's so amazing to hear. So we're almost out of time, but we have about 3-4 minutes. Tell us about your advocacy. Sunflower Breast Cancer Support Group.
Yeah. So basically, what I do is that back in Kolebu, every Tuesday and then Thursday, I go to the surgical chemo unit, and I share my story to encourage them that I've been through it. They should look at the transformation before and after, and that there is hope, because most of them come and there is lack. There's no hope at all.
At all, yeah.
Yes. And you don't get people to talk to you. During my treatment, because there was COVID, like, no one talks to you. And I had my chemotherapy at the oncology department where we have different cancers coming for treatment. So you may be just one breast cancer patient receiving treatment with multiple sets of patients with different cancers. So it's like you can't share your experience with the next patient for advice or to even encourage you. Okay, so what you felt after the first chemo, it's normal and all that. So it was like there was a path of loneliness. Someone to even encourage you, what you are feeling, you will be better and all that. So after everything, I decided that, look, let me share my story. Let me encourage someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then sometimes people, not even Saturday, one called me, was like, Auntie Joyce, Anka wan buy your bravo man because your talk, the way you understand us and you are able to encourage us. Some will even call me 2 a.m. to say, I'm feeling this way. Is it okay? Then I'll encourage, yes, it's okay to, go away to be better. So basically that's what we do. So we educate, I go to churches, educate, share my story, and then tell them that there's treatment. Because people still go to herbalists, people go to churches and come back in a bad state. At the end of the day, when it spreads, you definitely come back to the hospital for treatment.
Yeah.
Because that man or God, after praying, and the cancer doesn't go, when it was straight and it starts smelling, they will direct you to the hospital. So whatever has manifested physically, even if it is, you believe it is a witch, it has come in the physical. Why won't you pray and then do the treatment?
What you have to do as well, yeah.
Yes, and then combine the two. I don't think God is against us, going for
getting medical
treatment.
No, I don't think so either.
Yes, so that is because a lot of people come in the list. In Ghana, why we have high mortality is because people don't decide early. They come in the late stage, maybe stage 3, stage 4. By then, nothing much can be done for you. So it's better you come early. And then when you come early, people can take like 3 months to decide whether they want to do surgery or not.
Wow.
Yeah, they want to go and pray and ask God if God wants them to do that.
And in the meantime, it's growing.
It's growing, it's spreading. It's like a time bomb, you know. So the day you see it, it's not like it has started like a year or something that you've not noticed. So the day because I said I picked my early, but it was like stage 1. Somebody will pick.
But even you procrastinated.
Yes.
Because from when you felt it to when you did
it was my husband who was always asking me. It was like as if he was pestering me every day. Have you gone to jail? That is why I even went. So it's like, because it didn't come with pain or anything. It was just a painless lump. So I felt, okay, this is just a lump, I'll go and remove it, and then life goes on. Yeah. I didn't know I had to go through all this.
Wow. Yes. Let me take a few of your messages, and we're almost out of time. Good evening to you and your guest. I'm a 4-year breast cancer survivor, and I'm so excited about this topic. Congratulations, Jocelyn. Issy says that's quite a journey. I don't have words for the emotions it evokes. I admire your strength. Thank goodness for a great support system. Putting your story out there is another mark of your strength. Keep that beautiful smile on. You have no idea the many that you are inspiring. Thank you for those of you who are tuned in on Facebook. Francisca says we thank God for his faithfulness. Doreen says, God bless you, Edward. Men will stay, boys will run away. Mawena says, thank you for sharing your story. Brownie says, you're an inspiration. Possible says, thanks for sharing your story. We're very grateful. Your life is a testimony. Oba says she's very glad that you are well now. Gifty says, thank God for your life. Mavis says, enlightening and inspiring. God bless you and Edward. So yes, I'll mirror their sentiments. God bless you and Edward.
Amen.
Thank you so much
Amen.
for sharing your story with us.
Thank you
And
too.
we pray that it's only good things